Alright, in this video let's try to let the player control something on the screen. So we should make a player character. And the player is probably an entity. So let's say entity is player and create an entity. We also need a sprite for the player. So it's gonna be not assets player, but not that one either. It's gonna be character animation, priest 3. Why not? So it's gonna be priest 3. I think that's how we do it. And what do we do here? Load sprite. It's just the name. And so we'll say the player sprite. We'll put it at 0, 0. And the health is going to be 10. So there we have a player. Then if we go into sprite, we should animate it. So let's animate player.sprite. We need to pass in the frame count. We need to pass in the player.position. We need the scale, which is just the scale. Let's see if that runs. And let's actually put this guy at position maybe like 5. Okay. So we have the player here, and now we want to be able to move it. So how about probably this guy needs also a velocity. And for now, the entity velocity can just be a 0 vector. And then let's say I have an input thing, and it will take the player. What is this level thing? It is some level data. And I don't think we don't need to do anything there right now. Okay, so we need some input, and let's make one that's called controls. And we need to make that file, controls.c. Okay, so there's going to be handle input, and it will take an entity to control. So it could be something other than the player. And now we'll say if is key down key W, key S, and that looks correct. So now we can change the velocity of this guy, but nothing happens. So what we need to do is, and these numbers are just 1 minus 1, so that's probably going to change. So let's update the player. And where should this function go? It's not really controls. Maybe I'll just put it here for now. So update some entity. And let's see what Copilot says. That probably works. So let's see what happens. So now I can move it around, and it's actually like a decent speed. And maybe that's okay. Maybe that is okay. Now you can see that there's no collision detection or anything. And also there's no like there's no particular animation for moving. But I think this is okay. And he has a sword. That's interesting. All right. So what should we add now? We need to add collisions. We need to add not gravity, but let's say specific animations. And let's try to tackle the animation thing first. So one thing we can just easily do is to, if you move to the left, it will flip the sprite horizontally. So let's say if, well, maybe not. Let's say maybe we do it in handle input. So if entity velocity.y is less than, sorry, that x is less than 0, then we need to flip the animation. So that's probably some information we need here. So it's just going to be a boolean. That means we need to include std bool, because C is a great language. It doesn't have built-in bools. So let's just call it flip x. Then we'll say entity sprite flip x equals true, else. And actually let's do else if entity velocity is greater than, then we don't flip it. And the reason is if we just say else, then when we stop moving, it will revert to the original orientation, which we don't really want. Okay, so now here where we load a sprite, we should remember to say don't flip X. And when we animate the sprite, we should say sign is that even legal? So I think the way we can include a flip is just by having a negative width. I think that should work. Or rather, I think it has to be here. Yeah, so now we just flip it, and that's easy. Okay. Now, like, it would be nice to have more animations, probably. But it's fine for now. We won't get bogged down in all of that stuff right now. All right, so let's remove that one. So let's do collision detection, and let's start with the walls. And that means we need some information, which let's call it level data. I mean, the level data should probably contain that stuff. And then so we'll need some more information here, and yeah, let's have a let's have like some walls, and we also need a wall count. And where do we make this level data? it's in the loading thing, which makes a lot of sense if you think about it. Okay, so we need to set up walls. And since we are putting... Okay, so this is where we draw it. So how many walls do we need? We need 5, 6 plus 6 plus 4 plus 4. So 12, so it's 20 walls. And data walls is this many. And let's say, well, that's not gonna work. Let's say top wall. So this is almost correct, but we need to add the position. So actually, let's do vector to add, and let's just call it the room position. Like our demo room position, and we'll put that here. Demo room position. Right, so those are the top walls. Let's all top and bottom walls. So what's the width of the room? That is probably 6. Let's start with that before we go too crazy. So let's say new x and new y, and then we'll say for if new x is greater than wall x and new x is less than wall x plus tile size. So basically, if we're kind of within, we set the velocity 0 and we stop. I think that's fair enough. But now when we update, we need to include the level, which is a pointer. I guess it doesn't need to be a pointer, but let's not pass it by pointer then. I think that's good choice. But then this has to be a, there we go. Okay, so the side walls should be fine, but now the top walls, so something went wrong. Let's do this. Then we should always have one up here. Okay, so, so probably something is wrong with this check. So let's see if the new x is maybe greater equal. very strange. Let's do a little print, hit wall at, and then we need to run it here. So let's see. Hit wall at 0, 0, 0. And are we somehow not... Ah. But then this should be a wall here. Somehow there's a wall down here, which is clearly wrong. Okay, so first of all, we shouldn't overwrite. So let's say +6. Okay, so now we have walls up here, kind of. Let me remove that print thing again. It's pretty annoying. But for some reason, it only triggers from below. Because we are only checking collision with the upper left corner. That's why. Okay, so we need to... let's say lower x is that. And then say upper left collides is this thing. And it shouldn't be new, it should be replace new with lower, I think. Ah, this is lower left. So let's check, do we really need to, yes, we need to check collision with all of them. So we'll do like this. And we have a flout, which needs to be a float. Okay, now it should just work on all corners. Right. And 1, 2, 3, and then 4. So apparently it's not 6 here, it should be 4. Great, so now we have collisions with the walls. Let's add the walls of the side as well. Now there's only, how many of those? There's only 3 of those, so I guess I made some kind of calculational mistake when I said it was 20. So 3 of those. And actually let's start at 12. And go up to 15. And we're gonna add this guy. So here we don't want that. That can be 0, and this should be I. And here we do want tile size plus times 5, I think. See how that works. Does not work. And why is that? It's so weird. Actually, should this be 4? And this should not be, it's because it's, yeah. So this has to be 3, and then it has to be plus 12 and plus 15. And now it works. Okay, so that one should have been 5. So now we are completely trapped. Now it would be nice if you could kind of like have some debug options. So let's say if data debug mode, then we're also gonna draw collision boxes. And we shouldn't do it like this. We should rather like draw rectangle lines, I think it's called. Draw rectangle lines. And let's see what that one requires. So, couple positions, that's going to be wall X, wall Y. The width, whoops, the width can be 2. The width is of course tile size, the height is tile size, and the color can be red. But now we need to add that debug mode, so call this something else later. So debug mode, and when we make the level, we should say data debug mode is false. But then we can add something here which will not be in the released game, so to say. So let's use F1. I don't like F1. Let's use, and we cannot use D. Let's use set. Let's use set. So here we go. We can move around. We can press set, and we get this nice, amazing debug boxes. And we actually already see that there is a kind of a bug. But let's fix the drawing first. Let's fix the drawing. It's a bit annoying that we would have to add this to all of the draw functions. So this should probably be somewhere else. We will add it here. And then we'll say to do refactor into editor mode. Let's call it dev mode. Okay. Also, incidentally, we need the scale. This scale should probably be part of the level data. So we need to say replace R with times scale, and that's it. There's no data, so we have to say level debug mode. Right. And that's also wrong. So we'll say data, this one is level. Oops. Data, that one, level dot. Great. So now we still some kind of, I need to save all probably. So debug mode. Okay. We see the collision boxes. There is a problem. It doesn't manifest as a problem because we still kind of hit the boxes a little bit, but yeah, but you can see there's a collision box missing here. So let us go and add that. The reason is we need to use a I+1. And the same thing here. And now it is correct. Nice. Okay, I think that's going to do it for this video. In the next one, we will maybe add some kind of basic combat. So what I've been thinking for this game is that, let's add some combat in the next one. So what I've been thinking is that while this guy, he can do some attacks, the main way you do damage is actually not yourself, it's that you summon creatures to fight for you. So it's going to be kind of like a mix between an auto battler and something like Vampire Survivors. I think it could be fun, and then you can issue different commands to the minions as you progress in the game and learn new spells and things like that. All right, but let's look at that in the next video. So I will see you then.